everybody, and welcome back to another Rosh Reviews, where today we are in the last ever Holden Commodore. This is a Series 2. It's a 2016 VF SSV Redline Commodore, and mate, just have a look at this thing. You know, Holden really did go out with a bang with these cars, and this particular one is the automatic, and it does have factory flappy paddle shifters. So this is really why I wanted to get this car out today, have a go with the paddles, see what this thing is all about, and ask the question, is this really the best ever Commodore Holden's ever made? Let's find out. Woo! Sure sounds good. Now onto the bonnet. Look, this does have the naturally aspirated LS3 motor. And previously, this motor was reserved for HSVs. And in the last Commodore, they did chuck it in, which is a nice bonus here. This is a Corvette engine, essentially. And, you know, it's got some serious grunt. 304 kilowatts of power and 570 Newton meters. Oh, yeah. This thing, rear-wheel drive, with the 6-speed auto or a 6-speed manual, these things were a weapon. And for the money these things cost, were an absolute Aussie bargain. They really were, because back in 2016, you're gonna pick one of these up for about 56 grand. Nowadays on the used market, these things are chasing $50,000 to $70,000, and I've even seen some real pipe smokers posting 200K car ads. Like, yeah, it's getting ridiculous. But when you sit in this car, it is without a doubt the most refined, the most well-built, most luxurious Holden Commodore they've ever made. And this thing, just on the road, it's complied, it feels nice, everything you touch still feels nice, and you know, that LS3 up front is just godly. And you know, the noises this thing makes, it looks the business. We got big Brembos up front. This is a really nice car. It is. There are a few little mods on this car. So it has had an air intake on this thing. It does have an HSV exhaust system fitted, and it's had a mild tune, and the gearbox has been tuned. And this is really why I wanted to review this car today, because this has the flappy paddle shifters. And in a Commodore from factory, to have these flappy paddle shifters, it's something special. And, you know, this is a manual car. You know, I've always said in these V8s, you really got to have a manual, and, you know, you need to get that feeling of running your own cogs. But chuck it over to the left, put it in sport mode, and start manually shifting. It's actually pretty responsive. And that is how good this exhaust sounds. Pops, bangs, has really, really nice reverb in it when you're just going down the RPMs here. And yeah, running the paddles here, this is weird. This is just weird, because it's not as instant as I really would like to. You know, it's not a dual clutch. This thing, it's not. You know, it's not on that level. Down changes are actually really good. I find that's pretty quick. Going up a gear though. Yeah, changing up gear, it does have, you know, a second to think about it. And that is a little bit unfortunate, because going down, it is quite responsive. But yeah, it's still, this is a weird feeling, you know, and these Commodores are so bloody capable. And this particular one, being the SSV Redline, it did get a special competition mode. So for the steering here, if we put traction control, we hit that button twice, ESP goes into competitive mode, and the steering really weights up quite nicely. And oh man, the pops and bangs. I am sorry if you guys are hearing this dinging, we're at the Port of Melbourne here, cruising this around, and for whatever reason, even though I've turned the infotainment system off, it keeps giving me railway warning beeps. And Holden, that is a big negative. I turned you off, just be quiet. And here we go. Wow. Wow. Mate, it's got some pull, this thing. It really does. Like, we were breaking traction, and we are in competitive mode, so I think it does allow for, you know, a little bit more spirited driving here. And that was impressive from the lights. Wow, and running the paddles. Yeah, man, this thing is interesting for sure. Now, it's a bit funny because I have recently just reviewed an SV6 VF and had a side-mounted supercharger on it. That actually made more power to the rear wheels than this does. And it is a little bit of a shame, I think, but this particular one with the tune and the exhaust, it's pushing down 272 rear wheel kilowatts. And that is a real healthy number, you know. This thing definitely drives quite spiritedly, and when you get it up into the revs, man, it can be an animal. It actually can. It really is a shame that going up a gear in this car, it doesn't handle a little bit more similar to a GSG. Look, I know this 6-speed, it's not a dual clutch, but if it was just a little bit snappier on the up changes, it would transform this car. It really would. And man, one of these things with like something having dual clutch performance, man, it would have been a bloody masterpiece, I'll tell you right now. And I love a 6-speed manual. That's where my heart is at. But, you know, that's pretty damn responsive, and it sounds bloody good. Oh, the exhaust. And if only Holden could have went a little bit longer, you know, Ford as well. It's such a shame that our Commodores and Falcons are dead now, and you know, we've got to just hold on to the ones that are still here, because man, if they were still making cars like this today, you really wonder what they would have been coming out with, because this VF, it's amazing. And if they could have figured out a way to just keep it like this and maybe just improve these paddles a little bit. You know, this was the first time they showed these paddles. So, you know, it really was an experiment for them to put them in here, I think. And I'm glad they did, though, because when you do put it over, you know, it is nice to use them, and especially on those downshifts, it really is satisfying. It's still done in the right way if you want to just row the gears yourself here in Tiptronic mode. So you pull it down, it goes up a gear, you push it forward, it goes down a gear, just like in a ZF. This box is not as good as a ZF. I'm still not going to say that, but it's a bloody good box. It's nice, it's smooth, shifts really easily. It's just the response time going up a gear. I wish we could tune that up a little bit. Yeah, these are big boy cars. They really are. And even factory, you know, this one's got a couple of little mods, but I'd hardly say it's anything. An exhaust and an intake. You gotta love these things, man. And they haul ass considering, you know, the minor stuff that's been done to this thing. It is a weapon. True Aussie legend, true Aussie hero. And yeah, these VFs were a real damn fine car. Man, make sure you guys are subscribing, hitting that like button. Yeah, these Aussie-made Commodores, you just gotta love them. Now, 0 to 100, guys, I actually don't know what these things were claimed. It must have been around that 5-second range, I would imagine. We're gonna find out, though. We're just gonna leave it in sport mode. I think we're in competition mode, so traction control is in a little bit more of a sportier setting. Reset the draggy here. And yeah, here we go. Yep, stop, and those Brembos, they stop well when you need them to. And yeah, wow, just this thing, man, all the refinedness in it, you know, it just delivers that power so well. Even though this box isn't the best in the world, man, it still puts down. That felt really quick. Let's have a look at that time, man. 0 to 100 on this back row, guys, was in 5 seconds exactly. And I don't care what you tell me, that's bloody impressive in a 6-speed auto in one of these Commodores, man. That is quick. Mate, with just minor things done to this, an exhaust and a basic tune. Yeah, this thing's impressive. So in conclusion, is this the best Holden Commodore ever made? And I think without question, yes. Because, you know, look, we're not going to be considering the HSVs. That's a whole different beast. But as a Holden Commodore, this Series 2 SSV Redline, it's got to be the best. Because just the refinedness in here, the luxury in here, just that LS3 up front, the noise that these things can make. It's a perfect package, and the fact you've just got boatloads of room in the back, these things are reliable, Aussie-made vehicles. Yeah, this is the best Commodore Holden ever made, and I love this thing. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here, and I'll see you on that next video.